Hi everyone, I'm back and this has thoroughly dried out now, so I've actually scanned it in and I've done a few variations on the scan. So as I said before I stopped and then restarted, that I actually only have an A4 scanner, so I did do 2 halves, so it means that the scans for the digis are in 2 parts, so you kind of get double the amount. But okay, yeah, so I am stamping a bit on the background and I'm using the Stays On, and it's the Midnight Blue. And you might notice I'm gently patting. I think I was watching joggles.com and she was talking about patting the ink on gently multiple times rather than trying to just whack it on there in one good hard go. Because it actually allows the stamp to absorb the ink, and then when you put it down on the paper you actually hold it down and press hard so that and leave it, just hold it for a second so that it gets on the paper or whatever medium you're using really well. Obviously it's not too much of a problem if you're doing the you just want bits of it to show, or it just to be light in the background, adding some more texture. So I gathered a whole heap of things together. I've got some Distress Oxides. The ink I'm using there at the moment is the Anea Senelia, and it's the blue turquoise, or turquoise blue. Love it, just love it. I bought a special misting bottle because I found that most of the misting bottles I had too much of a really thick spray. And I was just having a bit of a laugh because, you know, it cost a little bit more and half the time it won't work. So go figure, I don't know. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I twist the little nozzle around and then it works. Anyway, it was giving me trouble today for some reason. And putting ink on, spreading the water helps it to just sort of to fan out and get into or the background of the, you know, how I put the tissue paper down, that's created cracks so it can get into there and flow around and just generally find places to go. I love that part, just when it drips down the page, so good. So by now, even though there's a bit of tissue paper under there and it's got actual, you can see the circular patterns there, there's sort of a few layers over the top that mean that doesn't actually create any, not very much of a pattern if the ink falls into it. There's a little bit of it there, but not too much. That was just too quick for you to see. Okay, the Distress Crayon, and it's Mermaid Lagoon. So I'm just building up more and more layers, more texture, a few varying shades of different blues. Just fun. Why not? A bit of enjoyment while we're all sort of stuck here at home in our little self-imposed exiles. What a better time to do art, hey? Can't think of anything better. So you can just upside down, sideways, however you want. No, it doesn't really matter. Basically it's designed as a digi for backgrounds, so you can be putting it any way you like. People are going to print it out, they're going to tear it up. It's not going to really matter, you know, what angle. Okay, so that's the blueprint sketch in the Distress Oxide by Ranger and the Stormy Sky. And you can just put a bit of water with them, brush it on. probably could have got a sponge and put some on. I didn't think of it at the time. You know how it is. You're just in the moment, and whatever comes up is what comes up, and that's what you're doing. So I think at this point I noticed that I was getting a little bit purpley in there, so it's changed, you know, it's morphed again. It's started blue, it's had bits of white in there, and now adding all these little other different tones of blue are starting to blend it and make it, you know, just a different palette, really. You can have all sorts of fun with this. You can dab a bit off, you can add some more. Whatever works for you. What's fun for you? Okay, let's see if we can get that spray bottle working this time. Oh, it's a bit better now. Oh dear. Unpredictable. Shaky cam. Shaky cam could go with Beezilla from the last video I uploaded with the bees, with that giant bee head. Make myself laugh. You got it, don't you? I'll tell you what, while everyone's becoming isolated and staying home and self-isolating, I tell you what, I'm grateful for the people who are doing all their funny memes, you know. We can be so serious about this stuff, and yes, it is serious. It's a shame, shame that there hasn't been a bit more foresight in Australia for the elderly, but I got a note from, you know, our local saying that they'll be having a 7 till 8 a.m. You must be on either a pensioner card or a senior to be able to get into the shop, so I'm really grateful for that. But yes, thanks to all the people that are sharing, and I've tried to do it too, just share the funny memes, because, you know, there's not much we can do about it. We just have to try and do it with the lightness as possible, as much lightness as possible. That is the Seedless Preserve Distress Crayon, because I'm noticing as it got a little bit more purpley, I thought I'd like to add in a little bit more of that kind of grapey colour. Then I thought maybe it's a bit dark, maybe it's actually taking away too much, so I dabbed a bit off. You know, always just looking at it, saying, do I like that? Am I happy with that? Is it giving me the desired effect? And that's a funny question, because, you know, sometimes you're just not actually thinking about the effect, you're just having a bit of a play. I thought maybe I'll lighten that up a bit with the Picked Raspberry Distress Crayon. I don't know that I liked it. I didn't put much on. I just kind of washed it. It sort of washed into the more grapey looking colour. It's about this point that I look at it and go, is that just becoming a big fat mess? But the thing is with digital is I know I can edit it. I know I can add to it further when it dries again. I can, you know, there's all kinds of different things that I can do that change it up. So even as it's sometimes paint dries darker, doesn't it? But it's like it's lightening up a little bit with me dabbing some off. I also like the way that sometimes when you look back, like as I'm actually recording over it, I'm going, hey, I actually like, that looks like a bit of a butterfly there, or that I can see that there. Where you can't always see that when you're right in the zone, but watching it back later. All right, so that little glitch that just happened then was I just stopped and I came back and it's dried from all the wet and the ink and everything, and I'm putting a bit of gouache on to pull some bits back. And what else did I find? Rummaging around my bag of tricks for other blue things. Anyway, I found another stamp. And that's Gothic Purple that I'm using. So I'm still trying to bring in a little bit of that purpley, grapey sort of colour. And just keep on building it. See where it goes. And being as once I've made things like this, I usually print them out for myself and use the digi files to print out new copies rather than using this, because this is quite thick. I wonder what I'm going to do with this. I get the feeling I may be cutting it down and maybe making tags out of it or something. Who knows? When I was studying visual arts, when I went back, I left school early and went and worked for many years, and I actually went back in my late 30s, early 40s maybe, to study visual arts, and I had to finish my high school in order to go and do that. And my first class that I did was with a lady who was into collage, which I've always loved, and I guess many of you watching are probably people who love collage. And she taught me that you don't just do a collage, you can photocopy it and cut it and paste it again, and you can draw over it, and you can do all sorts of things to take the initial bit of artwork that you've made further and to a different narrative and a different story. So I kind of wonder what I'll do with this. I'm not sure. Maybe I will cut it up. Maybe I will, I don't know, maybe I'll go down and find an A3 photocopier and get the whole lot done. Maybe Officeworks will have one. Okay, so I just found some of the little wax crayons in blues, and the ones you twisty, you just twist them up and just going over the top of that. And at this point I think I'm getting closer to going, I think I've run out of ideas, I need a break. Sometimes you just need to go off and not think about it for a while, come back later, I think I said that on the last video, and just give it some breathing space. So just found another bit of a grape wax crayon, and I'm adding it in. And I don't know if you can hear, but the cat is scratching at the door because she wants her dinner, and nearly there, nearly done. Anyway, I hope you're all very well, because it's that time, and good luck with everything, and I will speak to you later. Bye.